Hi there, my name is Algernon, and I am here to tell you that on the algorithm have a new single coming out on the 4th of July, Independence Day. It is called Take to the Streets. Hope you enjoy.
Conspiracy, the bigger the damn fool. Never read a book, but your melon is crammed full of fake speech, hate speech. Think you're damn cool with the scam. He bound you, handed you bad tools. Rather did you feel like you were part of a movement? Give it a look around and do you see an improvement? The government spinning for a couple of clans full of billionaires spinning the republic for crown jewels. Take me by the scene, it's what we're doing. Come and check it out, it's what we're all about. 561 music.
Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
It's nice to see you, dude. How you doing?
I mean, I'd say it's nice to see you, but I can't really see right now because I went to the eye doctor today and my eyes were fucked.
I thought you were going to say, I'd say it's nice to see you, but it isn't.
Well, there's that too. No, I'm kidding. No, man, I get like an annual checkup or whatever because of my diabetes. They check my eyes and they do this whole like dilation thing and stuff. And for some reason, I don't know what the deal is. It's supposed to last a few hours. And for me, it always seems to last like all day.
Oh, man.
And then I'm like super sensitive to light and things are blurry and just, it's terrible.
You had to work outside.
I did have to work outside today. I had a lot of drone shots today. So my guess is I'm going to have to reshoot everything again tomorrow because I couldn't see what the hell I was doing. So
it's like
we'll
guessing, point and shoot kind of thing.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Oh, man. Well, the
Thank God for autofocus.
The events of our weekend were that we played a real fun private party, didn't we? And that was cool. RWB Construction, I think is the name of the people. And yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
really fun.
I can't think if there was any other shows this weekend. Did we do anything else?
Yeah, prop.
Right.
With Blossom and Bone.
Yeah, well done.
Blossom and Bone and Rambler Kane.
That's it. Yeah, and Dominic Delaney.
Yep, and Dominic Delaney, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun show, man.
It was
a fun show. There was a problem or an issue getting dialing in the sound with Blossom and Bone. So they just said fuck it and got off the stage and set up old bluegrass style, no mics, no nothing, right around the front of the stage, and everybody crowded around them. And they played one of the best sets I've ever seen at Prop Band.
Yeah, no, they were really good.
So fun.
And it was that type of folk punk, which is just like really fast strummage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of the band Days and Days?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that one.
Yeah, no, it was fun. And Rambler Kane, he got up there, and I guess he's going to be opening up for Trampled by Turtles for the Florida leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lucky fella.
I was very happy for him, but also I hate him for it. So, it's fine.
I know.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Well, yeah, no, that was fun. And Killbillies doesn't play enough mixed bills with other folk punk bands. So it was just nice to do.
It was fun. Yeah, I think I reached out to them already. So I think we're going to get a date with them on the way up to Atlanta to Marietta in October. So
they wanted to do this thing where we kind of trade dates. I don't know if we'll get into that.
I mentioned that to them as well. They had said something to me, so I mentioned that to them in the email as well. So,
nice one. Yeah. All right. We have Stratis from the Metropolitan with us. How's it going?
I'm great. Gentlemen, it's great to finally meet you guys in person. Thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
For a second, I almost said the Cosmopolitan. And I just managed to pull it back to the Metropolitan.
My first name and my band's name get mixed up all the time, and I get misspellings. I'm used to it. Don't worry.
That's funny.
That's brutal. Stratis is an interesting name.
It's a very unique name.
Tell us a little bit about your awesome personal name.
Thank you very much. I can't take any credit for it. It's a Greek name.
Okay.
It's my grandfather's name. His name was Stratis. The only other people I know that are Stratis were in my family. And then like every other Greek person I've met, they're like, oh yeah, that's a fairly common name. I'm like, I don't know anyone else that's named Stratis that's not in my family.
Is that the whole thing? Or is it a contraction?
In English, it's just Stratis. People
Cool.
shorten it up to Stratty all the time, but I prefer Stratis.
That's awesome. So you have some Greek family then?
I got some Greek family, absolutely.
Wicked.
I always say that my full name, and it's no offense to my father, I love my father, but my father's not Greek.
Right.
It gets less interesting as it goes on. So my name's Stratis Michael Washburn. Starts real great.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay.
Stratis Smith. That's cool though. So how long have you been at the music game? Is it something you've been pursuing your whole life, or when did you get into
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I was a product of middle school and high school band.
Sure.
Started playing the trumpet when I was like whatever age you are at 6th grade, and
Sure.
I got in. My brother, who also plays with us in the Metropolitan, he's 2 years older than me.
Right.
So he was in it, and I've always kind of admired my brother, and I was like, I want to do that too. And he played sax, and that's how it really started.
My younger brother plays trumpet, and I play sax. Isn't
That was,
that nice?
that's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I know, right?
So yeah, that's how it really started, and then it just kind of naturally progressed into, doing this now. And I've kind of been at this singer-songwriter band type thing for better part of the last 15 years, I'd say.
Excellent. That's cool. Did you, when it comes to guitar, was it something that you sort of figured out on your own, or did you have like years of lessons on it and stuff?
So I always kind of had the musical background. When I started playing guitar when I was around, I dabbled when I was in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And with like band competitions and where I wanted to go to college, it was like, you really need to focus on like your core, whatever it is you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So I started playing guitar, I would say probably when I was around 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Of course, what brought me to playing guitar was that my brother kind of ditched the whole concert band thing and, just fell in love with playing the guitar. He got his first Stratocaster. Our first guitar actually that we both had was a Washburn guitar, which was
really?
pretty fun. Of course. So we would like share it, and he was like, no, you can't play right now. I'm playing it. And he was way, still is, better at me than it. So I was like, okay, you can play it. So I always just fed off of what he was doing, and I always gravitated to more being like in the background with the guitar and just being a chord guy, figure out new ways to play chords and different inversions and things like that. And I was like, you can do all the fast licks and jump up and down the pentatonic scale all you want. Like, that's not going to be me. That can totally be you. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's cool. The first guitar that we got was a Strat, and I remember when I got it. It was one of those. Have you seen Wayne's World 2?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, the cream Strat.
The Olympic white.
Yeah, I got I got like, they did a special edition of it where it has Wayne's World 2 on the little back plate.
Really?
Yeah, that was
I didn't
my
know they
first
did
guitar. Yeah, unfortunately, it is no more. It's been sold, which I'm very sad about. 'Twas not me.
Seldom is the case sometimes.
Yeah, totally. You'd be amazed at how many musical instruments I've had stolen or lost over the years.
I'm sure. It's funny because after my brother got that Washburn, we got it at Costco. It was like the deal. You got the guitar and like the little 5-watt amp and the cord, and you think you're a rock star. It's got the distortion button.
Yeah.
But two of his main influences when he started playing guitar were Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix.
I can't go wrong.
The only thing that he wanted one year for Christmas, I think he was 17, 16, was an Olympic white maple neck Strat.
Oh, wow.
That's just what he wanted.
There's a lot in common.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember he ordered it from a place. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this music store. It's called All County Music. It's mostly in Broward, I think. There's 2 of them. And at that time, they were selling Stratocasters, which is odd. They were like a concert band forward store that sold guitars. So he ordered one, and he was laboring. This is before ordering online, and he just put in the order number, and like, I don't remember exactly what happened. He was like, I don't think I got Olympic white. I think I got Arctic white was the other color. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, we didn't have any money. I was like, dude, you saved up. You got an American-made Strat. And it came in, and sure enough, it was an Olympic white Strat. And it was probably the happiest I've seen him in a while.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
I think so. I mean, every guitar has character to it, and you got to make it your own. Yeah. I play a pretty beat up Telecaster that
it's like we're the same person.
You see I saw that.
That's my guitar.
It's Ben's new guitar.
I got it's this like 2005 Mexi black and white maple telly.
Yeah.
And I always toyed around with it, and I've played it almost every gig.
I have that exact guitar.
Yeah. And I love it.
Black and white.
The tone knobs are off, the pick selector, the black, that's all off. I've had to get so much work done on it just to get it to play.
Sure.
But it's just got this particular sound that no matter what other Telecaster I plug in, for some reason, it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
Mine's not beat up like that. Mine is in mint condition, except for one gash or my son dropped it.
You gotta be careful with
I
that.
bet every time you look at it, you think.
And when I
of
say
it.
my son, he's not like 5. He's like 21.
Yeah. See, that's me. I was 21. I dropped the thing like you wouldn't believe, like all the time.
So
Chord coming out.
I was never one to get like the pre-worn type of guitars.
Mm.
This is the first one I've ever got like that because a friend Eli made it for me, and it was like all separate parts that came together. And I don't think I would buy one like that from like the Fender custom shop. But the fact that he kind of made it for me, it just, we were looking how to do the body, and then there was this one company that does these super light bodies that come like pre-wired and look like that, and that's what we ended up with, which is quite a nice feeling because you don't have to worry about scratching it because it's all scratched up.
Right. I feel the same way. I mean, when I think about purchasing a new guitar, not that I'm really ever we're always in the market for it because we play guitar, but there's never a need. It's always a want.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to like go to Guitar Center or order from Sweetwater like a brand new, whatever line they're up to right now, Stratocaster or whatever it is. I always look for like odd years or something that's just weird.
Yeah.
Because it's got something in it that you can't explain.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I want a piece of it.
We have a friend that used to tell me a story about how he would come home from a show drunk and would almost always, it was like the ritual, he'd come home drunk and get on the Fender custom shop and build his like perfect ideal whatever, and and then not order it.
Right, put it in the car.
And one morning he woke up after doing that or whatever, he woke up and he was going through his email and he had like a thank you for your order email. He was like, what?
Whoops.
And he had actually placed the order. It was like a few $1,000s.
Oh, that's really funny. Who was that?
I don't know if we can say it on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'll
Can't
I'll
return
tell
it.
you later.
Can't return it because
Okay,
it's custom. It's like you're stuck.
You
with
do
it
know
now.
him though. I'll tell you later.
That's really cool. And that's hilarious.
Yeah, you have to call him on that at some point.
So, the Metropolitan, how did it come about?
Yeah. Again, most of this is always going to go back to my brother, which is so funny. I was in college. I was a music composition major in college. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Yeah.
This is really crazy. Where did you go to school?
In Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dream.
He's like, I went overseas too.
I know that would have been wild. My dream was to go to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Like my favorite composer at the time is he still writes, but his name was Eric Whitaker.
Right.
And everyone that I had known and admired, Leonard Bernstein, like all these people, they were kind of like Juilliard people.
Yeah.
I wanted to go so bad. The kicker is that they didn't care what your grades were. They just cared about what you could do as a musician or a composer. That really attracted me because I didn't do well in high school and I didn't take SATs or anything like that. I was going to limp into wherever I was going to go. And this is in 2007.
Right.
And I looked at the application and it was like $100 to apply. And I had maybe like $5 on me. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going there. So I never sent it in. There's a school in Miami, New World School of the Arts.
Right.
I was part of Miami-Dade College, so they kind of had the same requirements where you just need to have your diploma because the academic part of it was from the community college side. The music aspect of it was through this New World School of the Arts. And I applied. It was a $25 application fee. I was able to, scrummage that up. I applied. I got in. Like my first week there, I was waiting to meet all these composition majors. I was like, I want to see who I was like up against. I was the only one that applied.
Oh, really?
So I was the only, they were like, you're getting in no matter what. You're the only one that applied.
That's wild.
So I kept getting put into like the composition classes were one-on-one.
Yeah.
So all the other theory classes were group, and then it was like a one-on-one thing. As to get back to your question, I know I'm kind of rambling right now. It's a terrible habit that I have.
Oh, it's a perfect place for it.
Yeah, really. I was going through it. I did about 2 semesters. I had one teacher. I'm not going to say they were bad, but just someone I didn't vibe with.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference.
It did for me. And then the final or the midterm was you had to compose something for however many instruments it was, find the people you need to play it, rehearse it on your own, find the space, find the time. And then there was like a recital at some place in Miami. And I lived in Boca at the time. So I was taking the tri-rail back and forth to go to school.
Brutal.
So I wrote a piece for piano. So I only know I needed one person.
Yeah, sure,
I wish I remember what her name was, and I'm so upset that I can't. She was super, super talented. Ran through it twice, mostly because it really wasn't that difficult. And then we performed it, and that was like the first one on, and I was just sitting there. It was the first time I ever was on the other side of hearing my music live. Every other time I was up there, waving my arms like a fool.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, I listening to my brother play more guitar and just hearing what he was listening to, I just started gravitating to Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, Led Zeppelin.
What was the type of stuff you were composing when you were at college with classical music?
It was classical. I was really trying to get into like the new wave of classical music, which was very much like Eric Whitacre, very dissonant sounds.
Sure.
So
postmodern.
Right? I always like the thought of like composing film scores, even though I knew I was never going to be able to do that job because it's just an enormous amount of work in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
But like always trying to be conceptual about it.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I think it's probably carried on to what I do today in songwriting. But
have you ever heard of a composer called Lutoslavsky?
The name rings a bell. I don't think I've heard a specific piece.
It's cool. That was something I was into at college, and then I like Messiaen and stuff like that.
I'm a huge Mahler.
Oh yeah.
I love everything. I'll listen to Mahler 8 like on a long car. I'll listen to the whole thing through.
That's awesome.
It's one of those things where it was one of those moments like the first time you hear it, I'm going to listen to this for the rest of my life.
100%.
And that's such a great feeling.
Because it's like there's some sort of more challenging parts of it, but really the heart and soul of it is just like romantic sort of like, just really powerful emotional music.
Yeah, it is. And like the end of Mahler 2 and the end of Mahler 8, they're just these huge. They called Mahler 8 the Symphony of 1,000 because you need 1,000 people between the choir and the musicians to play it. And it's just this wall of sound. And everyone is just triple forte written all over the square. Everyone's playing as loud as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I love that so much.
Yeah. It's actually something that I don't indulge as much these days as going to watch classical music and stuff. And it's not really because I don't want to. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, things you can do. But that's something I want to sort of start doing again. Is just going to watch great concerts.
I fell out of it for a few years, especially when I got out of college. It just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then as I was getting older, I could just appreciate it on such a different level.
Yeah.
That I'm with you. I haven't been to a classical show and classical show. I'm calling it a show like it's a rock. A performance in I don't even know how long. But I'm finding myself looking more now than ever.
But they have classical shows though. Like they do all those. My wife and I have been to a bunch of these things where it's, I think candlelight something.
I've seen those.
It's orchestras, but they're playing modern rock
which
music,
I think is awesome.
and it's fucking amazing.
I haven't been to one.
It's a hell of a like blend of.
I always get the ads on Instagram, like they're always there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
We've been to like 2 or 3 of them, and they're like amazing.
Oh,
I think it's a really great way to introduce people to what might be becoming a little bit of a lost art in the masses. And to relate it to something that people know and say like you can create beauty.
Yeah,
it's not just Mozart and Symphony No. 9. Like there's beautiful things that can happen.
Yeah.
You just have to look for it.
Yeah.
It's funny, like the difference between looking at the audio file of a classical piece and like modern rock. Because if you look at and modern rock and stuff is just like a block of like black wave. And you look at like a classical piece and it goes real quiet and real loud and there's all these ebbs and flows,
I can never wrap my head around how people even still write these hour and a half, 90-minute long symphonies.
Yeah.
And create a structure and make it all tie together and write for different instruments that they don't play that are in different keys. I can't fathom that. It's so impressive to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just unreal. I mean, that's what I went to college for, but I didn't even stay for like the second cup of coffee. I was like, I'm done. It's too hard. Give me a guitar.
It is hard. I never wrote anything for very like enormous, but I did some string quartet stuff and things like that. It's a lot of fun. It's just a huge amount of work.
It is.
Yeah.
I was always like old school. I wrote everything pencil and paper. It just was like a cool way. You're putting the work in.
I know.
Like you get your hand hurts.
I mostly did the same thing as well, especially in the first couple of years. Towards the end, when the workload got to a certain point, I kind of switched over to Sibelius.
Sibelius, yeah. I used Finale mostly. I could never figure out Sibelius for some reason.
Confusing, isn't it?
But yeah, I mean, I eventually got there too. I was always like too proud. Like, I'm going to do it old school.
I know.
Like anyone cared. Nobody knew. I'd bring it to my composition teacher. I can't read this.
Yeah.
You have the program. Just put it in there. It's so much easier.
You know what though? I am glad I did that then, because now if I have to write music down, I can do it relatively quickly.
Yeah.
I don't have particularly like good handwriting in general, so it's never going to look that pretty. But I can knock it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Mine is piss poor, my handwriting. Like top to bottom. Writing letters and writing music notes is just all bad. All the time.
I know, yeah. I'm like a geriatric sort of pediatrician.
Everyone tells me I should have been a doctor.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm like,
But that's what's funny is if you have bad handwriting, the first thing everybody says is, you should have been a doctor.
every time.
But every musician I know has bad.
Everyone. Yeah.
So
Should have been a
switch it.
musician.
Should have been a musician.
I know. I'm going to start saying that now too. If I see someone with bad handwriting, you should have been a musician.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
So, so let's get back to the thing. So the Metropolitan,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we started talking about how, what was happening right before it. And then how did the band come together?
Yeah. So, I just kind of gravitated towards rock music. And like I was saying, like finding the beauty now in classical music, I found the beauty in that.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. And my brother, who I could hear, our rooms were right next to each other. And like, as I'm composing, he's playing, Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix. I'm like, wow, this is like killer stuff. It was really new to me.
Yeah.
And one day I just kind of woke up. I'd gone to some concerts and I saw the impact that people were having.
Yeah.
On other people that they've never met before.
Sure.
In such a short period of time. And I was kind of like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that.
It's addicting for sure.
It is.
Yeah. And for me, it's the smaller shows too.
Yeah.
It's when you're just in a tight room with people, and then they just get you. They just get the crowd.
Yeah.
It is just spellbinding.
It's so rewarding if you get people that you've never met that genuinely think that you did great and they like your music. It's the best feeling. So I was seeing a lot of that, and I just started dabbling in songwriting.
Nice.
And singing. I'd really never sung before. I didn't have any vocal training in college or anything like that. And it was all bad for a long time. And that's just part of it. It's just, you got to slop through it.
This is the part where we're like now, because all my stuff's bad too.
So I was
that
just writing a bunch of aimless, meaningless songs and like begging my brother. I'm like, can you please play something over this? Like, because you're so talented and you're so good.
Oh, bless. If your brother watches this, he's going to be blushing.
I know. Yeah, he's going to be. He's in the Metropolitan. So,
there you go.
So
what's up? Stratis, his brother.
His name's Ken. He didn't get the fortunate. Ken is my dad's name, so he
gotcha.
Everyone calls him Ken and Barbie, and he, I'm not a big fan of that. I got lucky enough to get the cool name, which is, I think, why he said you're gonna have to sing if you have a name like that. I was like, okay,
that's a fair point.
So we just kind of started, just doing that, and then we started like collaborating a little bit more, and like, well, we got to get a drummer and we got to get a bass player, and a friend of ours at the time, we were just all in that 18, 19, 20-year-old range. A friend of ours at the time, his name was Sean, he played guitar, and we were like, if you play guitar, you can play bass, because we were very naive. And he was like, yeah, sure, like, I'll do it. So like the three of us started playing off and on, and we were all trying to write songs together, and then we'd found a drummer, and we were rehearsing, and then it just, that's like, the beginning of it, and we played one show, and we played two shows, then we played three, and then it just kind of evolved into what it is right now.
So how long has it been going on for?
About 15 years.
That's right. And so we kind of touched on something that happened at the beginning of the band that I think everyone deserves to hear, because it's a very interesting story. So yeah, why don't we dive into that a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had put out a few EPs before that, and they weren't particularly great. Just the reflection of the songwriting. I'll take the honest. It really just was. And our drummer, Mike Murphy, he went to SAE in Miami. He was wanted to be a producer and an engineer. And another friend of ours from high school was with him. So he told us, he was like, we can go use the studio off hours and record, and we'll just pay Dre, whatever he wants to get paid to engineer it and produce. I'm like, perfect. This is like the greatest scenario. So I'm like, we're going down there and we're recording 13 songs. We're recording the whole lot of them. And then I started thinking about this whole conceptual thing. And I've always written about where I live, which was down here. We have a song that we play now called A1A. It's
Sure.
as old as dirt in Metropolitan years. And I was always reading about history of Palm Beach. And the one thing that always stuck out to me was the Breakers, that the crown jewel of
Sure.
Palm Beach, as it was called. And I was just thinking about, and what if there was a story about, some guy that was in a hotel and there was like this fight. I've always liked that, Die Hard-esque, there's only one guy that can save the world. And,
Okay, gotcha.
So I've always liked that and started writing a little bit about that. This is probably in 2013, turned into this whole thing. I was taking other songs from it, made the album cover. I'd bought this old postcard from like the 20s or something like that of the Breakers, and I overlaid the title on it. It was called The Breakers. I was like, this is the greatest thing. We're going to win a Grammy. People are going to want to listen to this whole concept. I'm 23,
Yeah.
we're on sign. Like, who's doing this? Nobody. And, just very naive and wrong. And we recorded all these songs. We were going to Miami at like 10 o'clock at night and recording till like 6 in the morning because we had to be there when nobody was there.
Yeah.
And we were just killing ourselves just doing this. And it just started getting stale. And we were like, you know what? We spent all this money. Like, we got to put it out. So we'll put it out. Start doing the marketing. I'm putting out posts. The day the album is out on, can't remember the websites we used to use, but we put it on Spotify and put it on Apple Music. It gets out there. I get a letter from the Breakers attorneys, a cease and desist. You can't do anything that you're doing, basically, is what they said.
Man.
Name, album artwork. They're like, we might even change the name of your band. That's how pissed we are. And I was like, whoa, this is really serious right now.
Oh, man.
And I hid it from everybody. I hid it from my brother and Murph and our bass player. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to call them. I'm going to call the attorney.
We're going to work it out.
And I'm going to tell her this story. And she's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to these people that own this hotel for the last 100 years. And they're going to change their mind. So you, that nobody's ever heard of, can put out your little passion project. I did. I called her and I told her everything. I said, listen, I'm so set on this name. I really don't want to change it. I'm like, I spent a lot of money to market it or whatever. She's kind of like, you might have spent a lot of money marketing it, but do you know how much they're paying to make you take this down right now? So I said, listen, just hear me out, tell her the story. I'm like, just give me a day or two to figure out all this stuff. She's like, okay, no problem. Calls me 2 days later. She's like, you have to take it down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's coming down whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You're either taking it down or we're taking it down and we'll figure it out. So I was like, fuck. So I took it down, waited probably too long. I was literally heartbroken. I was just crawled up in my room, not talking to nobody. I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening.
Oh yeah, that's a heavy blow.
It was just, I just couldn't believe it. So I was like, I don't even fucking care about these songs anymore. None of it makes sense. I can't think of another name. So we were thinking, and I eventually, none of it's really that interesting. We came up with another name, changed the album artwork, we re-released it, and then during this whole time, I just kind of fell out of love with all the songs, which sucked because this was almost 2 years later now at this point because I was so stubborn about all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, none of these songs represent us the way we want anymore. I had written a whole bunch of new songs that it just isn't it. And then it just basically just picked it all up and threw it in the trash. And
wow.
Yeah. It was brutal.
So after that, you just never released any of it?
I one day we had changed. We were under a different name for the first 5 years, a really, really bad name. And then we had changed our name to the Metropolitan. And I got a little bit more privy. This is probably in 2016, 2017, being a little bit more learning the social media game a little bit more and like finding a style of what we were saying and what we were posting that fit us more instead of being a little bit boilerplate. Like, hey, check out our, we were a little bit more coy about it. So I said, I went on Bandcamp and I just threw all the songs up there and I made a post and I was like, listen, I did this. We did this a few years ago and didn't really tell the story because I was afraid they're going to send another letter.
Yeah.
I said, it's free. Listen to it. If you like it, if you don't like it, here it is. This is just us. And, we're working on new stuff. And that was it. And we never really looked, up until now at this point, over the last year, like we went through a myriad of changes of personality, life changes personally, and some personnel changes. How many times can I use that in one sentence? That, we put it out there a few years, whatever amount of years ago it was now, and we never really looked back. I'm like, it's out there. I recently took it down.
Right.
It's because it's not us anymore.
Yeah.
It just isn't and what we're doing. So that's the story. And it was just,
man.
We had something kind of similar happen when I first joined Killbillies.
Oh yeah.
It was COVID time when I joined. I joined in June. My first show with the Killbillies was June of 2020, and shortly after that, the studio was in a different location. It had a different name, and Justin, because of COVID, Justin was having bands do live streams.
okay.
So we decided that we were going to come in and do a live stream, and I don't think I was with the band 2 months maybe at that point. So we did a live stream of a bunch of originals and stuff, and me being in the band only a couple of months, and like literally, I think I was on the stand up for like 2 weeks when we started.
You were like winging it pretty hard, but you did a good job.
And so there was all sorts of blemishes and things in the song, things that just things were wrong with it. But so there's another band on the West Coast in California, I guess.
Angry Johnny and the Killbillies.
Yeah, we're Killbillies, and they're Angry Johnny and the Killbillies. And I never even looked at their albums, never even looked at, just put our album out. He came up with a name and was like, we're going to call it this.
Yeah.
And then we released it. And then I think it was released for a week, and he comes back, he goes, you're not going to believe this shit. He goes, but they have an album with the exact same name.
Yeah. The other Killbillies.
The other Killbillies has another album.
It was warts and all. And they just had a name just exactly the same. What is the chances of that?
Yeah.
The exact same band name, the exact same.
Yeah.
I know.
So we were like, oh. So I think now it's just Killbillies Live or something.
Yeah, it doesn't exist online.
No.
Yeah, that's what I have it in like a folder on my laptop, and every once in a while I'll just go back there and I'll go, what the hell were you thinking? Like I was 23 when I wrote some of those songs. I was 19 when I wrote some of those songs.
It's like you said though, it's not you guys anymore.
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
There's probably 1 or 2 songs from those sessions that we still play today. Yeah. They just held the test of time for us, which is great.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes you'll get lucky with that. Some of my younger songs I still play.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of this song, Honesty, I wrote a really long time ago.
Yeah, there's a song that was on that record that we still play today called This Side of the Pier. I wrote that when I was 19.
Yeah.
I'm 35 now, and we've been playing for all this, whatever amount of time it is. And do I like playing it still? Yeah, I do. It's a great reminder sometimes. Like, look, like it's just crazy to me.
Totally.
Where it came from.
There's this song, Northern Skies, that I wrote when I was about 17 that I had played all the way up until I was 29 with this other band that I was in, Sonic Boom 6. That's probably my longest one. I can't think of any of those really early songs other than that I still play. No, I think the oldest one is Honesty, and I wrote that when I was 26 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The hard part for me is like trying to figure out, where does me now fit into what I wrote back then that I'm really not even that proud of sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like, can I get there? Like if we don't play too much out right now, and that's just a circumstance of our own doing.
Yeah.
So when we get out to play a show, it's like, well, yeah, maybe the song is good and we like playing it, but do we really want to get there? Is this what we want to showcase right now? Or do we want to rehearse and like figure out something new to play? We haven't really had that luxury. We've had to rest on our laurels and play a lot of old stuff lately.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it's the mental warfare that comes into it too sometimes for me, where it's like, do I really want to go back to this place? sometimes you kind of have to, I guess.
Yeah.
When you guys are playing shows, are you doing like an original set, or are you doing like these 3 and 4 hour cover gigs?
we play. It's all original music.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
we've played one show where we did half and half. We were probably more like 75-25. 75 was covers and 25 was originals. We were saving up to record this album. We got an offer to play. God, I think it was a place called Trist on Atlantic Avenue.
Okay.
And it wasn't really big. So they're like, you come in with your acoustics and bring the drum set. And so we did it, and we rehearsed for like a month straight of just like some cover songs that we loved, because we had to play for like 3 hours, but they paid like really well for what we needed. So it was like the one time we've really ever introduced covers. Other than that,
it can be really, really fun. Like Killbillies does it. We'll do original gigs, but then we'll also do those. And it's a nice little sort of little cheap mode way to make a bit of money.
Yeah.
The problem is though, you can get
complacent.
Yeah, it can start becoming what you are,
right?
And you've got to be really careful with that.
And there's definitely two sides of it, and a really good middle ground that I can't get to. And I know a lot of people that is what they do for a living, and they're incredibly talented musicians, and they enjoy it. And I give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah,
the tribute acts, the people that just do covers, I have so much respect for those people that they do it. It's just not like I would end up probably falling more towards it,
right?
Than not. So it's like I'm just gonna stick away from it, because I had a great time playing some of the covers at Tris. It's just a lot of fun. Like, why don't we play Cream more?
Because people know it and they
right,
dig
and they
it,
can identify it.
I was in a tribute band, Nirvana tribute band with Justin. We were in probably five years or something. We were in that tribute. I mean, we played. I don't know if you remember when the Kelsey Theater was open.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we sold that place out a couple of times.
Man.
And it was
and it's
400 or 500 people.
Right,
in there.
it's a blast.
Fun.
Yeah, like 100%.
I want to be in a band that's so original that we don't even use the same notes.
Like some atonal type. Well, atonal they use all the notes.
I think we should start a cover band of Killbillies. And cover all of Killbillies.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least we know the songs already.
Right, that works out.
I think now would be a good time for us to listen to some of your music, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I'm just looking forward to jamming out to one of your tunes. Does that sound good?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd love to.
All right.
I'd love to do that. Thanks so much.
Wasted, on
Oasis Root Carver Bar is in Seagrape Square on Indian Town Road. And it is a carver bar. If you don't know anything about carver, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water. And it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of carver and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a carver bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of carver bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing, and some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. You're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends. It's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby foot as they call it in France. Yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root. Welcome to 561 Music. We have some very exciting news. You may have noticed that the podcast is being hosted from a different place. That place is the 561 Music School and Studio. Justin Hucker has changed the name of his school from Live Music Community to 561 Music School and Studio. We have joined forces and now everything has the same name. The podcast, the festival and the school are now all under the umbrella of 561 Music. If you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you will know that every week in this spot, we used to do an ad for Live Music Community. Now, Live Music Community has become 561 Music. We are still on North Lake Boulevard, but we have moved to 524 North Lake Boulevard, Suite A, North Palm Beach, Florida. It is east from the old location, and boy oh boy is it an upgrade. We now have a studio that is far bigger and more advanced. Bigger lesson rooms and 3 big spaces for recording bands and practicing. We now offer more opportunities for recording your band and provide more practice space to hone your skills. The heart of 561 Music School and Studio is still tuition. We train both young people and adults one-on-one and also in groups to be real bands, teaching you how to play your instrument not only by yourself but with others as well. We help you learn to write and record a song, how to brand and market your band, how to design and produce merchandise, how to get shows, how to act at shows, how to perform, how to organize tours, how to reach out to labels, the ins and outs of protecting your intellectual property, and much more. 561 Music is a one-stop shop for all your music and performance-related needs. We are also set up to help you record music videos, how to manage social media, how to create content for social media, and everything that is required of a person trying to break into the music industry in 2025. Come by the studio at 524 North Lake Boulevard in North Palm Beach and check out the new digs. We are online at 561musicstudio.com. Fill out the form online and come for your free first trial lesson. We are open daily by appointment or just walk up and say hi. We're here most days of the week from 3 p.m. for walk-in inquiries. So we were just listening to the ad for 561 Music, and it's at this time that we like to ask our guests, do you have any advice for people who are getting into playing music and who are just kind of getting into the game and, don't know where to start? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the most conventional thing that I was always taught and always think is just practice. I mean, you find whatever instrument it is that you're going to gravitate towards, and you got to practice.
Yeah.
Like that's where it comes from. And then, I know you asked for one, I'm going to give you 2. Authenticity, I think, is the best thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
In this day and age where the content is so saturated in everything, whether it's casino gambling or golf or it's all on YouTube. And me personally, I always gravitate to people I find authentic, not just on social media, but in person. Same thing with bands. The bands that I always used to go see that I always wanted to play with were the ones that I always felt were authentic.
Yeah.
Even the bands that we play with now that are really good friends with ours, I believe that they believe in what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that'd be my advice. You got to practice. You got to practice a lot. It's not going to be fun for the first bit, but
You know, I think that probably the biggest reason why being authentic is a good idea is no matter how well you do, if you did it and you meant it, you can always be proud of it.
absolutely.
You know, like
Couldn't agree with you more.
because to be honest, like doing really, really exceptionally well in music is so unlikely. It's unbelievable. No matter what you do and how much work you put into
Absolutely.
it. And so you just got to mean it. You got to care. You got to like the songs, regardless of how well they do. That's what I think.
100%. There's no amount of money. There's no secret formula. There's no nothing that's going to guarantee success.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, that's what my family and my mom told me when I was young. They always were super supportive of being a musician. My mom and dad still are today. And they said, probably not the most likely thing to have happen, but if you believe it and you're passionate about it, then you should do it.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the authenticity part comes in 100%.
Yeah. No, that's great. I had pretty supportive parents as well. And, a lot of people don't, A lot of people kind of struggle with that, but
for sure.
I consider myself lucky for that, for sure.
Same as me.
My dad is he's in insurance. And so he didn't have really any contact or anything like that in the game, but he was still just like, well, I don't know anything about it, but if it's what you want to do, and both of them have always been very supportive of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge too. If you consider myself very lucky as well.
Yeah,
my dad was always very much like, it's great that you do that, but go to college, be a doctor, be a lawyer, whatever. He wasn't not supportive, but he wasn't supportive.
Right, sure, right.
Fast forward to about 5 years ago when he passed away, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
We were cleaning out some stuff in his office. My mom and dad owned an insurance agency, and we were cleaning out some stuff in his office, and it was my task to clean out all the drawers in his desk, and he had an entire file folder of every article, every news clipping,
That's
everything
awesome.
of every time I got interviewed for artwork or music or anything, it was all on this file folder.
That's really great.
And all of a sudden, it all just came rushing back. Like, all right,
Yep.
I know you wanted me to like do this, but
Right.
clearly you were supportive.
Absolutely.
He just,
And proud.
and he was supportive and proud, but didn't want to like say it because there was still the
Wanna stick to
underlying.
his guns,
I want you to be able to make a living.
Sure. That's a really
Yeah,
awesome story, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You're like, your parents were, they weren't born here, so that's like, like, I don't know if there are any immigrant parents who allow it.
Yeah. I mean, they went through the struggle, man. So they knew what it was to figure out how to put food on the table.
For sure.
And they didn't want me to have to go through that. So
Right.
I get that.
Right.
I 100% get that. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to.
That's sweet that they kept everything.
It was kind of interesting to
that's
like.
really,
I
really
opened
sweet.
that drawer and was just like, what?
Yeah. Oh, that makes me happy. Well, R.I.P. man. Well, my next question is, we just listened to one of your songs. I would love to know why you wrote it. What's it about?
Sure.
Seeing as we've been talking about authenticity, I'm very curious to know what it's about.
I'm really glad that the song turned out the way that it did. It's one of probably the most musical thing I'm proud of is that. And that's really thanks to like everyone else in the band and where we recorded it and who recorded it. I remember I had everything but the lyrics, like up until the night I was going in to do vocals.
Oh,
like I had ideas about what I wanted to write about, and I had a few different lines. And I was just thinking about this really period of my life from probably about 28 to about 31, 32. It probably still even applies now in some aspects, but of just figuring out what are the weaknesses that I have and how they get thrown at me,
Right.
and who is the person that meets those challenges at that time.
Right. Yeah.
So, the first chorus is the second part is if I'm bleeding, it's blood from a stone, which is trying to be very like, I'm tough and
Yeah.
whatever. And then the next one is if I'm bleeding, it's coming from my nose, which is someone who is just wasn't able to like meet the challenge and,
Right, yeah.
and, you know, do what they had to do. And,
So it's these two parts of your sort
yeah,
of personality. fighting
absolutely.
each other.
Absolutely. And then I arrived at the choruses first, and then the verses became a lot easier to write for me. Like it really all just started flowing. I remember sitting up in my house just going, "Oh yeah."
Once you know what it's about, it's plain sailing from there. That's been a big thing. Recently I've been writing a lot with my friend Keith, and what the times when the lyrics don't flow is when we've got a couple of lines that we like the sound of, but we don't know what the song is about, you know?
Yeah.
And so what I really, really try and do now is get that outline as early as possible.
For sure.
Because quite often I will know in the back of my head, but I won't be able to verbalize what it is. And so, you know, I'll sit there. Sometimes, actually, this is one of the creative uses of AI that I've found, is I'll try and explain it the best I can and put in the lines I have into AI and be like, what is this about?
Right. Yeah.
And then you know, they'll tell you, I'll be like, well, that is what it's about.
That's the nature of songwriting. It's like, we'll go to any lengths to figure out what's in our mind to get it from here to somewhere else. I'll do almost like, there's so many things to this day that I thought about when I was 20 that I wanted to write that I still can't figure out.
Yeah.
And I go, if I can ever figure it out, it's going to be the biggest hit ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be perfect.
It's with the whole kind of AI thing, right? I've used it for different things creatively over the last year or so, just exploring it.
Sure.
And you know, there's some things that is absolutely terrible for. Getting it to write large swathes of the lyrics is a terrible idea. You can't rely on it in that way. I feel like it's good as like a thesaurus, or as just like a way to tidy up certain thoughts so that you can see them better. It's like a strategy kind of planner for the songs, things like that. That's what I found it the most useful for, because when you actually write lyrics with it, then they're never good.
I use it for arguments. You know, when I'm arguing with my wife, and I'm like, I'm going to say this, and then I type it in, and it says, "No, you shouldn't say that. You should say this." And I'm like, "Yes."
So it's like you're on like what do they call it? Like reverse hype man. What it's called.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I don't know if that's true or not, but I hope it is, because it's so funny.
There's some really
It should be.
there's some really great things it can do, like creating visuals and creating promotional equipment or tools. I'm so bad at like all that stuff. Like that picture of our single that's out, that's a picture of my old apartment. I was taking pictures because we were moving out. It was me and my brother. And I was like, all right, I want to make sure I get my security deposit back. And as I was taking him, I was like, you know what? Maybe these will come in handy one day, because that song is very much about that apartment.
Oh, there you go. And I like the way it looks, the cover.
Thank you very much. And I didn't know what the name of the song was, what the album art was going to be. And then I found it, then I put in some things, and it just clicked. I'm like, this is everything now. And then I would put that up into AI and say, can you make me something cool that I can post on Instagram about this? And it'll do it, because I'm terrible at that. Like, it's just so bad.
Yeah, totally. I was watching a show about it yesterday, and I don't think this is necessarily the time or the place to kind of like litigate AI and like the problems with it and stuff
Maybe
like that.
it is.
But yeah, maybe it is. Yeah. But, you know, we're already there really, but we're on just the cusp of everything being AI.
Yeah.
We're so close
It's
to that.
really close.
Yeah.
And we still haven't really scratched the surface of what it can do.
Yeah.
And it's like that close from being automating everything.
Skynet.
Yeah.
We're on
Yeah,
the
dude.
die.
It's like Facebook now, and I feel like on Facebook, 70% of the stuff that's going down my feed is AI.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. It's
And
that
people are
dead
getting
internet theory,
duped
isn't
by
it?
pictures that are clearly fake,
Yeah.
which is another scary thing. It's like, Yeah, and I'm not trying to let you know thing.
All these reels coming through, like, and you know, I start watching for a second. I'm like, oh, that's AI. And then I go, oh, that's AI. Everything is AI.
Right.
It's
True.
crazy.
Funny story. We had a photo, like you're saying, people getting duped and stuff. We had a photo that my wife was showing my son and I. We're in the cars and stuff, and so she drives this Mustang, and she was showing us this picture of the absolute, you know, brand new, latest whatever GT, and it was just. It looked like the Batmobile. It was so badass.
Yeah.
And my son and I are looking at it. My son goes, "That's AI." And I go, "You think?" And he goes, "Zoom in on it." And I zoom in on it. It didn't even say Mustang. It said Bustang.
Yeah.
It said Bustang.
Oh, that's funny.
So she's like, "God damn it. I wanted
But
to."
look how, like,
it duped her.
it could happen.
Yeah. I think that, you know, it's cool in the sense that it can come up with ideas like that, and then you could go ahead and make them. But the thing I'm worried about with us humans is we're lazy, and then I don't think it's going to help us create more. I think it's just going to kind of like be what is created.
Right.
You know, there's like nothing else.
Right.
You know?
This is very true.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. I think the waters that we're heading into in the next 20 years are choppy.
Very,
So you want to do random lyrics, or you want to do rapid fire?
Or
both.
Let's do both. Let's do both.
All right, let's do both.
All right. So the first thing we're going to do is random lyrics.
I'm going to be real bad at this, by the way.
I'm going to assume that you, like most people that write lyrics, keep lyrics in your phone. Just, you know, put them in your phone.
Just started doing that.
Okay. So I need you to open up your phone.
Okay.
And very randomly, really quickly, just don't look for something specific. Randomly, really quickly, just pick out 2 lines and read me 2 lines of a random lyric.
I will. It's going to be the only one. Okay. I can't, in my eyes, be any more compromised when I'm coming up to size. That was 3, but
There you go.
Yeah,
When I'm coming up to size.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. I can't, in my eyes, be any more compromised when I'm coming up to size.
I like that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I like that. All right, we're gonna do rapid fire, but I am old and I have to put on my balls. Especially when
I'm a little younger than you, but I have to leave my eyeballs on all the time. I don't know what it says about me.
that just means I have better eyeballs. All right, so I have a ton of these, so I'm just gonna pick. We'll say what 3?
Yeah, sure.
3. All right, so I'm gonna fire off a random, just ridiculous question.
Okay.
May or may not be music related.
Okay.
And then we're going to give you, I don't know, like a ballpark of about 5 seconds to come up with as fast of an answer as you can.
All right.
All right. So let's see. Number 1, what is the absolute weirdest place that you've ever sung out loud?
Town Center Mall in Boca Raton.
Okay.
Bam.
Town Center Mall.
Nice.
Wow. That's cool. Okay. Let's see. If your life had a theme song every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
This is the easiest one. Hell Freezes Over, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's amazing.
You're good at this.
That's amazing. All right. This was a randomly odd one. And speaking of AI, I punched it into AI rapid fire fun questions, and this is the list I got. So
Thanks.
Thank you, AI. If auto-tune were an actual person, would you date them?
No, because they're not authentic.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah,
All right.
cool, man.
All right, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
that's fantastic. So, do you have anything that people need to know about what's going on with you and your music coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Blood from a Stone, which we played earlier, that is our official debut single.
Nice.
Not past the Breakers debacle.
Yeah.
We are currently, we're in the studio. We've laid down about 3 more tracks. So we're going to finish that up and put those out soon. I will say, because I'm doing a little bit of selling for myself, we're always on the look for great shows, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Our boy Dom at Prosperity has kept us gainfully employed for his anniversary shows, and we love him a great deal. But we're always looking to play more. So.
Okay, well, you're in the right place. If something comes along that, we'll figure it
we'll
out.
hook you up with something.
Excellent. Yeah, we have some you guys interviewed Dan Bonebreak a while ago. He's our bass player.
Yeah, I
love
knew
that guy. Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah, I did know that.
I played with Dan in two groups, the Metropolitan and another group called the Stiff.
Yeah.
Dan was introduced to us by another group you guys interviewed before, Eastway.
Yeah.
Nick's all those guys are great friends of mine, but Nick and me are pretty close. We've known each other for a while.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It is just so incestuous down here. Everybody knows everyone.
This is the way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt so out of touch lately. I spent some time out in California when I got back. I just felt like everything changed. So I was very happy that Nick did what he said he was going to do, because we were always talking about it, and started his band.
Yeah.
So I could get some gigs off him every once in a while. And he could keep me in the loop, So I'm very appreciative to the Eastway people.
I will say I mean, I was born and raised down here in Palm Beach County. And so I will say, what the scene was at one point when I was younger is different than what the scene is now.
Oh yeah.
That being said, it was thriving. Then it wasn't, and now I feel like it's thriving again. And I feel like since we've been doing the podcast the last 4 years or whatever, like
we've seen an uptick.
We have seen
that's amazing.
A fair change.
That's great.
In the scene, like to the positive.
Yeah.
I've
noticed it too. I mean, when we were really playing out heavy, it was probably between 2013 and like 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, oh man, this place is closing. Like there goes, like
everything was closing.
Everything was closing, and then COVID happened, and I was I was out on the West Coast, but it does seem like there's a renewed interest for original and great, talented musicians down here.
Absolutely.
Which is really, really great. And you guys are a huge catalyst for that. So
I appreciate that.
Of course.
There's a lot of people here who want it.
Yeah.
It's just about reminding them that you can do it.
It can be done. You just got to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
There's tons of musicians down here. We say that all the time.
Tons of good musicians down there.
We played a show with the Stiff a few months ago at Swampgrass Willie's in Palm Beach Gardens. I'm sure you guys are very familiar.
Yeah, I was there like
played there a few times myself with Metropolitan, and there was a group. They were a duo. It was a singer-songwriter guy and a girl, and they'd driven all the way up from Miami to play, and they were the last act on at like 12:30.
Oh wow!
And they were and like they were committed.
Yeah,
which is
when
I was playing out, you couldn't get most bands to travel 20 minutes to go play a show, and it's like there's people that are willing to do that.
Yeah,
never played there before, didn't know any of the bands, and they did it, which I think is incredible. And they were awesome. Cool. They were awesome.
Excellent. Can you remember what they were called?
I can't.
Yeah,
but I can find out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be able to figure that one out. I tell you what, man. For that kind of stuff, you would think that I would be good at that because it's helpful in like the music biz to be able to remember that kind of thing. I'm so bad at it.
I'm terrible, man. I'm terrible at it. And it makes me feel like so guilty.
Yeah. Because
I'll be out and I'll recognize someone like, I don't even know what their name is.
Yeah.
But I know that they're great and they're talented. It's just a terrible character flaw.
I do it all the time from the bands that I'm in, the podcast. I do a lot of street art and stuff like that. Like just all the different things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've met a lot of people over the last few years, and I'll be at the grocery store with my wife, and someone will come up to me and high five me. And, hey man, Hector, how you doing? What's going on? Everything good? Okay. They'll walk away. My wife will be like, "Who was that?" I'll be like, "I have no fucking."
Me and my wife have it like down pat. Like if we're out and she runs into someone she doesn't know, we'll do the, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. I'm Stratis," and then they'll say their name.
Yeah.
Like we'll go for like we forgot to introduce, and then she'll do it vice versa, and then it works.
A great idea.
Yeah, that's right. That's what that is.
Yeah, that works
take
great.
Take that on.
Yeah, I got to remember that.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to have a chat with Christy about it. We're going to have the old double team.
Yeah, it works.
Cool. It works. So have we got anything that we need to talk about? We're playing at the Square Grouper tomorrow.
Yeah, but it'll be yesterday if you're listening to this podcast
so
right
it's
now.
no use for, And then we're playing Paddy Max on Saturday, but before that, on Friday, we were playing at O'Shea's.
Yeah, we got a pretty full weekend.
Yeah, you guys do. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice busy weekend. Killbillies hasn't been playing as much recently, but it's nice to flex the muscle once in a while. So this will be great.
Yeah, man, it'll be good. We have a bunch of shows coming up. Not cover shows, original shows.
That's awesome.
We have July 5th. Killbillies will be playing with Ryan Hopkins' band.
That's right,
and
Prop.
DDRB and Les. Oh God, this is terrible
Claypool.
of me. No, not Les Claypool. This is terrible of me. I can't remember his last name. We're
Is
playing
it Les Norris?
Les Norris.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
there you
thank
go.
you.
Yeah,
Good
you're
thing you were
welcome.
here. So
Les, you're welcome.
we're yeah, thank you. We'll be playing at Prop on July 5th.
Yeah, I saw the poster
Doing
today.
a kind of a Americana folk night.
Yeah,
Should be fun.
absolutely.
Very cool.
The name DDRB always reminds me of like a drum fill. It kind of sounds like every time I hear it. That's what I think of.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, it's really been
Yeah.
a pleasure, man. And turns out we have a lot in common. And,
Yes.
I'm looking forward
Turns out
to.
you're the same person, and it's just a glitch in the matrix.
He's a bit more handsome than I am.
Speaking of
so-
it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Glitch in the matrix.
But yeah, we'll be seeing you soon, man.
Absolutely, that'd be
Let's play
great.
some shows.
For sure.
Yeah.
We'd absolutely love to. And thank you guys very much again for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll see you later, and see you next Wednesday on the podcast. Thanks.
I mean, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Everybody sing.